Hello and welcome back to the port. I'm the Galliford Major and this is a review of the British Tier 7 destroyer HMS Lightning. This is a game of Capture the Base on the Atlantic, so let's take a look at that shipping forecast. So on the other team we have a Lightning, so we're on par with the enemy destroyer. Looking at the cruisers, we've got the Shores and the Belfast, both of them radar cruisers. Shores radar range of 9 kilometers, Belfast radar range 8.5 kilometers. We also have the New Orleans, which will have sonar, but it's alright, just average sonar really. There's the Hipper, really good sonar range. I'm expecting about 5 kilometers, maybe 5.5, just to be cautious. And then battleships, we've got KG5, Jean Bart, and Iowa. So I'm expecting the Jean Barts and the Iowas to be in reverse, and I'm expecting the KG5 to be coming forward. No, we have a Jean Bart coming forwards. This game must be broken. So, the Lightning. Now, all this is going to be in comparison to the other Tech Tree Tier 7 destroyers, and that would include the Russians. Now, survivability, pretty average amount of HP for a tier in comparison to the others. You're beaten by the Germans and the Russians, but then again, those two are bigger destroyers. They're almost like baby cruisers, so that's kind of understandable. And then we've got more HP than the Americans and the Japanese. So as a small destroyer, we have slightly more health than them. Artillery wise, we have quite a small caliber gun. We've got the smallest caliber gun at this tier. We've got 4.7 inch guns, and I've got a Belfast, a New Orleans, and a KG5. Now, it would be good to see if I get some torpedoes onto the New Orleans as well. That'd be quite nice. Yeah, so we've got 3 turrets of dual guns. Now, we have quite an average DPM, but then it's kind of understandable because we've got 6 guns, and then we've also got... Yes. Don't sail in a straight line at the same speed. Bad things will happen. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to quickly pop a smoke screen here while we continue about the turrets. Yeah, so we were saying quite an average DPM. So you're pretty mid-table. You've got the Germans and the Japanese below you, and the Russians actually. So the only ones who really beat you is the Americans, but that's kind of understandable. The Americans are known for being quite gunny. You have the second highest fire chance. Now that's 9%. You're only beaten by the Germans, and that's basically because they've got 6-inch guns. So that's kind of understandable, really. Torpedoes wise, pretty average range, damage and speed, but you've got a really quick reload. So in comparison to all the other nations, you sit pretty much bang in the middle with pretty much most of those stats. You haven't got a particularly good stat in any of them, really. I'm probably going to keep eyes on this KG5 actually. But what you do have is, if you take the reload time and divide it by how many torpedo tubes there are in a single launcher, you have the fastest reload per tube. So your reload per tube is about 18.9 seconds, whereas the other nations are between 22.5 and 28 seconds, averaging out at about 24 to 23 seconds. So that's quite nice actually. So we can see that we can kind of keep up torpedo engagements, and it comes with the wide angle and the narrow beam. Now I kind of like the narrow beam. It just means you can kind of like personalize your torpedo layout for them. I think that's quite nice. I mean, I always like something personalized, to be honest. I'm just seeing that their destroyer is heading for our base, so I'm just going to swing around towards him. 12 kilometers off. Should be able to get to him in time. Well, that will bring us on to our manoeuvrability. We are pretty average, but pretty competitive at the same time. It seems like if you look at all the other nations, everyone's really quite tightly packed in regards to their turning circles, their top speed and their rudder shift. So it's kind of understandable that we kind of sit middle of the pack there, really. Concealment wise, we have pretty good concealment, really. We're only really beaten by the Japanese. That means that if we go for a concealment build and the Japanese don't, we can kind of see them at the same time that they see us. What that kind of means as well is we can see nastier, bigger destroyers before they see us. That allows us to make that decision of, do we want to make an engagement or do we not? Now that Lightning is getting absolutely pounded on. Poor thing. Now, smoke screens, you've seen me already use one. We get 6 of them. It's the classic British smoke, so it's only like a little small smoke screen. It's a 10.6 second duration, that's how long it takes to lay the smoke screen. A 42.4 second dispersion, that's how long it'll last for. And then a 60-second reload. Now, the nice thing about that, okay, he's gone, so that means I can go hunting the KG5. I might have to get heading up this way, I think. I might see if I can go for the base, that'd be quite nice. So yeah, what I was saying there was because of the 42-second dispersion and the 60-second reload, because it starts reloading as soon as you finish laying that smoke screen, you actually only need to go about 18 seconds without smoke. So when say you want to keep smoking in a certain area because you've got a certain engagement you want to continue with, you've only got to say pause shooting for about 20 seconds just to be safe. Or if you're within detectability range, you've got 18 seconds where you've got to kind of leg it and keep skirting away and try and dodge the incoming shots before you're safe again. The other consumable we have is sonar. We get 3 of those, so again that's more than any other nation with sonar. Now this is British sonar, which is it's more of a defensive rather than an offensive sonar, but it's still quite good. It detects torpedoes at 2.5 kilometers range, picks up ships at 3.5 kilometers range. Has a 3-minute duration, a 2-minute reload. Because we get 3 of them, we're never going to be able to use all 3 in a game consecutively. Well, I guess you don't have to worry about the last one reloading, so that takes 2 minutes off. So that means you've got 9 minutes of sonar for only 4 minutes of reload, if you kind of think of it like that, throughout a game. So I guess that's a good way to look at it. We've got the Hipper, and we should be able to skirt away. And then an Iowa, delicious. Now, one thing I haven't really mentioned is there's a nice one about the turrets I've noticed, and that's you'll be able to see here. If I look to the back, you can watch those front turrets, and you'll see that. Whoop! There we go. So our turrets, all 3 of them, 360. So what this means is we can kind of change our engagement as we go on the fly and not lose any of our DPM, so we can kind of switch from looking at them from our right side, and then we can quickly switch and we can bring that rear turret around, and then we can look at them on our left side. And the nice one is you can do that when you're running away as well. So the Jervis has a 360 rear turret, the Lightning's got all 360 turrets, so that kind of means that it's nice, we can skirt towards and we can skirt away. Now Iowa's really got to think about what he wants to do with his life now. Yeah, so talking about mods, first mod I've gone for is aiming systems. It's just always nice to have the, like, a bit, I think it reduces dispersion of your main battery and then improves, I think, your torpedo reload time, which is quite nice. Then I've gone for propulsion mods. It's my usual trick with British destroyers. I kind of like to be able to, when I've stopped, take advantage of that British acceleration. As I say, we're in a smoke screen and we need to get away, we can quickly crank it up, and we're already churning out the speed, and we're already going at a good legging before we end up having to come out of our smoke screen, which is quite a nice ability. So I'm just going to personalise this torpedo launch for our enemy battleship. Now the only downside is because we've gone from 10 torpedoes on the Jervis down to 8 torpedoes. So if you're used to the quantity of torpedoes you get with the Icarus and the Jervis, this is going to be a bit of a step down. Yeah, so she was the first tier 7 destroyer I got unlocked. I'm sorry it's taken quite a while for me to get around to reviewing her, but I think the Destroyer's Let's Play and review was basically like a little thing that I did to start the channel, really. It was just nice for me to review something I had a passion for. And then other things have got in the way. Damn you Russians. But yeah, no, she's quite nice. I like the way that she has that good DPM. You only have to really watch out for like Fletchers, I kind of feel. If I could... Oh! Yeah, so we've got them with the nose. What you'll see is I kind of spread it backwards just in case they do make a turn of sorts. Now what I might do, I'm just going to tell him that I'm going to set a smoke screen. And then if I can, I'd like to just be able to quickly turn out here.
Smoke generator started.
I think he's probably going to end up leaving it,
Smoke screen
but
set.
it's the best I could do.
Much obliged, Commander.
Sorry I couldn't help you much more, but that's alright. I think the intention was there. Yeah, so we should win this game in about 28 seconds. I don't know whether there's much more you want to hear about the Lightning. Hooray A ability seemed quite good back in the day. Obviously that doesn't really matter nowadays because they've hidden those stats. But I can see her being quite useful when if aircraft do come into the game again. Yeah, just overall a good rounder, all-rounder really. I like the torpedo ability as well. The sonar is always nice and reliable. So we should be healthily rewarded for the effort we put in there. As always, tier 7 games seem to drag on and on. But yeah, no, third place, that's not too bad. Made a pretty penny at the end of the day. Making a profit in tier 7 varies. So as you can see, if I didn't have the premium, I would have lost about 2,000 credits. And I've even got a credit booster on this as well. But yeah, no, that was a bit of a slow game for tier 7, but it was nice to be able to show off a couple of things. Well, if you like this kind of content, feel free to subscribe. I'm the Gareth Major, and back to the port.